Welcome to the Human 5.0 Project, the podcast where we cut straight to the breakthroughs that matter, the show where science meets self-optimization. I'm your host, UltimateBiohacker 10x, and here we break down the real research, real data, and real dosing behind modern biohacking, from compounds and peptides to techniques, devices, lifestyle strategies, and performance protocols. Most people jump in and jump out before they get the gold, so we're keeping it tight and delivering the essential insights you need without the fluff. If you've taken the time to hit play, we'll make sure you walk away with valuable knowledge that can transform your approach to longevity, health optimization, and beyond.
Here's the uncomfortable truth. We've turned suffering for health into a status symbol. Sitting in a freezing tub or sweating in a wooden box is not a personality. It is a physiological stressor. And a lot of people are not using heat, sauna, and cold as recovery tools. They're using them as content. They lift for 45 minutes, jump into a freezing tub for the camera, sit in a sauna for the story, and convince themselves that they are out recovering everyone else. Maybe. Or maybe they are just stacking stress on top of stress and calling it optimization. Because heat can help, cold can help, contrast can help. But none of them are magic. And some of the most popular uses are either overhyped, mistimed, or completely disconnected from the actual goal. Heat and cold are tools. They're not trophies. Today we are doing heat, sauna, and cold for dummies, which each one does, when it helps, when it does not, and when recovery is really just wellness theater with better lighting. I'm UltimateBiohacker 10x, and this is the Human 5.0 Project. And I'm glad to be back on the mic, so let's get into it. But first, a disclaimer. This episode is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not medical advice. Heat exposure, sauna, cold plunges, ice baths, and contrast therapy are not appropriate for everyone. If you have cardiovascular disease, uncontrolled blood pressure, a history of fainting, pregnancy-related concerns, neuropathy, or any condition that changes your heat or cold tolerance, talk with a qualified clinician before using these tools. Okay? Cool. Well, let's go. Welcome back to the Human 5.0 Project, and today we are talking about three of the most over-marketed tools in the modern recovery world: heat, sauna, and cold. Everybody's got a take. Some people treat sauna like a cure-all. Some people think cold plunges are mandatory if you are serious. Some people bounce from hot to cold like they are filming a luxury commercial for pain tolerance. But the real question is simple. What are you actually trying to do? Reduce soreness? Recover for tomorrow? Build heat tolerance? Improve endurance? Relax? Look disciplined on social media? Because those are not the same thing. And if the goal is wrong, the protocol is usually wrong too. And one thing worth saying up front, this is not just influencer culture. In places like Finland, sauna is not a stunt. It is not a flex. It's a normal part of life. That matters because it reminds us that heat exposure was not invented by wellness influencers with tripods and affiliate links. These are real stress tools with real cultural roots. The problem is not that they are fake. The problem is that people use real tools with fake certainty. And we also live in a comfort trap world. Climate controlled, screen lit, temperature regulated, always comfortable. So the second heat or cold makes you feel something intense, people assume intense must mean useful. Not always. So let's make this simple. Heat, sauna, and cold are all forms of stress. That is the first thing people forget. They are not automatically recovery. They are not automatically health. And they are not automatically helping. They are controlled stressors. So here's the metaphor. Think of your body like a guitar string. Too loose, nothing happens. Too tight, and it snaps. The right amount of tension creates the sound. That's how these tools work. A little heat can push adaptation. A little cold can change how you feel and recover. Too much of either at the wrong time just adds more strain. So the game is not, is sauna good? Is cold good? The game is, when does this stressor create a useful response? And when is it just more stress? People care because these tools promise a lot. Less soreness, better recovery, better endurance, better resilience, better sleep, better mood, better discipline, better performance, and some of that is real. This is also where a more balanced exercise physiology lens matters. People like Ben Wright out of Oxford Brookes have emphasized that heat and cold can support stress relief, circulation, and perceived recovery, but response varies from person to person. That is the right frame. Tool, not religion. And on the sauna side, clinicians and researchers like Dr. Joy Hussein have helped push the sauna conversation beyond spa treatment and into a more serious discussion of passive heat stress, cardiovascular strain, and why sauna is more than just sitting in a hot room. That is why people care. These tools can help you feel better, get through dense training blocks, adapt to heat, manage soreness, and create a useful ritual for downshifting. But can help is not the same as always helps. So let's get to 3 things that actually matter. Finding 1, cold helps short-term recovery, but it comes with trade-offs. Cold can absolutely reduce soreness and improve perceived recovery in the short term. That part's real. If you have a tournament weekend, repeated events, brutal conditioning, or you just need to feel less wrecked tomorrow, cold can be useful. But here's the catch. If your main goal is maximizing muscle growth, especially after lifting, frequent post-workout cold exposure may not be the smartest move. Why? Because some of the inflammatory signaling after training is part of the adaptation process. So if you slam the brakes on that response every single time, you may be helping short-term comfort while interfering with some long-term hypertrophy signaling. Translation: cold is useful when the goal is feeling fresher, reducing soreness, and being ready again quickly. It is less obviously smart when the goal is squeezing every ounce of muscle growth out of a lifting block. Finding 2. Sauna and heat may help endurance, cardiovascular strain tolerance, and stress regulation. Now, sauna is not just a luxury recovery toy. There is a real research around passive heat exposure, cardiovascular strain, and long-term health associations. That is part of why Finnish sauna culture matters. Not because the Finns do it, so it must be perfect, but because it shows this practice has been studied in real people using it consistently, not just sold as a high-end wellness accessory. And this is where people like Dr. Joy Hussein are useful voices. They help move sauna out of the vibes and sweat category and into a real conversation about cardiovascular load, blood vessel function, heat adaptation, and passive stress conditioning. Now, be careful. That does not mean sauna replaces exercise. It does not mean you can sit in a hot room and skip training. It means sauna can be a meaningful physiological stressor and a useful one in the right context. Finding 3. Context beats the protocol. This is the adult version of the whole conversation. Cold is not good or bad. Heat is not good or bad. The real question is, what is the goal? If you're in a tournament, race week, a multi-event weekend, or a brutal training block, cold may be useful because short-term recovery matters more than maximizing long-term hypertrophy. If you're trying to build heat tolerance, support endurance in hot conditions, or create a passive unwind ritual, sauna may make a lot of sense. If you're trying to build muscle and you jump into an ice bath after every lift because it looks disciplined, that's a different conversation. Same tool, different goal, and different answer. So now let's talk about where people get played. First, the cold plunge identity. A lot of people do cold because it makes them feel hardcore. That is not the same as it making them more adapted. You can feel amazing after cold. You can feel awake. You can feel disciplined. That does not automatically mean it was the right tool for the training goal. Second, sauna as a universal miracle. Sauna gets sold like it fixes everything: cardio, longevity, recovery, mood, stress, detox, and probably your Wi-Fi. No, sauna can be useful. It can be relaxing. It may support heat adaptation and cardiovascular health in the right context. But if you are sleeping badly, under-eating, and overtraining, sauna is not your missing piece. Third, the detox scam. You don't sweat out toxins in any meaningful way that justifies the way this gets marketed. Your liver and kidneys are doing the real detox work. Sweat is sweat. Do not let a wellness salesperson convince you that dripping in a cedar box means your whole life just got purified. It ain't happening. Fourth, the fat burning myth. Now, cold can increase energy expenditure a little bit. Heat can raise cardiovascular load. None of that means you can out-plunge a bad diet or out-sauna bad programming. The caloric magic is wildly oversold. Next, confusing feeling better with adapting better. This is huge. Cold often makes people feel better faster, and that matters. But feeling better faster is not always the same thing as creating the best long-term adaptation. Same with heat. A sauna may feel incredible after training. That does not mean it improved next day performance. Number 6, contrast therapy is automatic best of both worlds. People love hot-cold contrast because it looks elite. And yes, it may help some people with circulation, relaxation, and perceived recovery. But again, individual response matters. Contrast is not fake. It is just easy to oversell. Next, I call this one performative discomfort. Expensive suffering rituals designed to be photographed more than repeated intelligently. Luxury cryo chambers, marble plunge tubs, high-end sauna clubs, wellness rooms that look incredible that don't fix the basics. If the ritual is built more for aesthetics than repeatability, you're probably drifting out of recovery science and into status signaling. Next, more stress disguised as recovery. If your week already includes hard intervals, strength work, life stress, bad sleep, travel, and underfueling, then forcing sauna plus cold plus fasting plus extra cardio may not be recovery. That may just be more stress wearing a wellness costume. So here's my 80-20 version. Decide the actual goal. So before you use any of these tools, ask yourself, am I trying to reduce soreness, recover for tomorrow, build heat tolerance, relax before bed, improve endurance adaptation, feel mentally reset? If you can't answer that, don't start with the protocol. Next, use cold when short-term recovery matters most. Cold makes the most sense when the goal is less soreness, better short-term recovery, surviving dense competition or repeated hard efforts, getting a fast alertness hit in the morning. That's where it shines most consistently. If hypertrophy is the priority, do not automatically make post-lift ice baths a daily ritual. Number 3, use sauna or heat when adaptation or downshifting is the goal. Heat makes more sense when the goal is passive heat acclimation, sweating and relaxing, supporting cardiovascular strain tolerance, a constant evening unwind ritual, endurance support in hotter conditions. And if you want the adult model, look at Finland. Frequent, moderate, and repeatable use. Not one heroic suffering session for the camera. 4, keep your doses moderate. You don't need hero sessions. You don't need to turn everything into a survival contest. If you cannot recover from the recovery tool, the dose is probably wrong. Next, don't stack every tool on the same day by default. You do not need hard training, sauna, ice bath, fasting, no carbs, and poor sleep all in the same 24 hours. That certainly is not elite. That is just a recovery debt speed run. Next, let your basics outrun the toys. If sleep, protein, hydration, total calories, and programming are broken, heat and cold are not where your miracle is hiding. And you know this. Foundation, foundation, foundation. 7. Use subjective relief as real data point. This is one of the most useful practical rules. If the sauna genuinely helps you downshift, sleep better, and feel less stressed, that matters. If cold leaves you feeling sharp, less sore, and more ready for what comes next, that matters. But if either one starts feeling like another chore, another stressor, or another ritual you're afraid to skip, that matters as well. So what are you going to measure? Soreness the next day, perceived recovery, whether your next session is better or worse, sleep quality after evening heat, how you tolerate heat or cold over time, whether performance is actually improving. What should you ignore? How hardcore it looked on camera, whether you felt tough, whether the internet told you elites all do it, one dramatic experience that you turn into universal truth. The biggest mistake is using a recovery method because it matches your identity instead of your goal. If your goal is hypertrophy and you are icing because it feels disciplined, that's a problem. If your goal is short turnaround competition and you avoid cold because inflammation is good, that's another problem. Context matters way more than ideology. So here's your one-line takeaway. Heat, sauna, and cold are not recovery magic. They are real physiological stress tools that only work when the timing matches the goal. That is the Dummies version. Now next week, we're going to keep moving because the next question is obvious. If recovery is really about matching the tool to the goal, how do you tell whether you are just tired or actually under-recovered? So next up, recovery debt for dummies. Sleep debt, fueling debt, deload debt, and why your body keeps sending invoices. Until then, stay smart, stay thermally regulated, and stay adaptive. This is Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and I'm out. Thanks for listening to the Human 5.0 Project.
If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready to elevate their biology. Make sure to follow the show for weekly deep dives into peptides, protocols, devices, lifestyle strategies, and the science of high-performance longevity. Until next time, stay curious, stay optimized, and stay 10X.